What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Took a little break from making videos for a while and I managed to get to veteran with a Love Cup team that I liked. Unfortunately, that team has already been kind of beaten to death by other content creators, so I decided I'll just make a Master League video instead, featuring Florges. So if you're wondering whether or not you should run Florges, hopefully this video will convince you to invest in it. I think it's a great Pokemon in this meta. Florges has great bulk and it's able to pressure really well in neutral matchups. Obviously it's going to struggle with Steel, so you definitely need something in the back that has some play against Steel, but being that Poison is really not a relevant typing in this meta, you really just have to keep it away from Steel, and it's got, like I said, it's got the bulk to really keep up with a lot of this meta. So yeah, this team in general definitely struggles against things like Excadrill, Magnezone. It has some play against rival Metagross, right? Because you have the Gyarados that can crunch, and if you have an energy lead, you can always bait, or shield advantage. You can bait with your Metagross and just try to get to that Earthquake before your opponent does. The good thing is dragons really have nowhere to go against this team, and otherwise you're pretty dominant. So yeah, if I could make a little revision to the team, it would be probably swapping out Shadow Metagross for something like Excadrill, just so you have an anti-steal in the back that can deal with a lot of the stuff that are going to give Florges and Gyarados a hard time. But both Florges and Gyarados very reliable, very solid. Not a lot of things that they can't swap into, so definitely a lot of play with this team. So just getting into the battles here, in the first game I'm going to lead off against Mamoswine, and now being that this is the first game, I wasn't really sure exactly how to play this matchup out yet, so farmed up to the Moonblast and decided to go for a Disarming Voice. I'm going to, I believe, let go this first Avalanche just to see how much it does, and it did more than I expected. Mamoswine obviously very attack weighted, so he's going to be able to get the 2 Avalanches and pressure me to use a shield here. I'm going to shield that Avalanche up, and now he swaps into Snorlax. Here was a mistake, right? So Snorlax obviously not going to want to give up a second shield. I could have just gone for the Moonblast if I wanted to stay in. There was really no reason to throw that Disarming Voice at all. I should have immediately swapped, or at least thrown the nuke. But I threw the weaker of the 2 moves and then swapped to Gyarados, and now I'm a little behind on energy here, so he's going to be getting to these body slams pretty quickly here. So we let the first body slam go, we let the second body slam go, we're able to get to 2 Aqua Tails here, so I'm going to throw that first Aqua Tail, which I believe he lets go, yep, and then I'm going to throw the second Aqua Tail, which I think he's also going to let go. Yeah, so we're able to get rid of the Snorlax and essentially win back switch here. But now Mamoswine's going to come back in to gain a little bit of energy there. And I didn't really want to come in with Florges and get farmed down and then have him potentially be close to a Bulldoze. So I came in with Metagross to pressure that Mamo out. And he goes into Gyarados, who's going to try to eat that Meteor Mash. But being that I'm a Shadow Metagross, it does probably a little more than he was expecting. So he has to give up his shield to a Disarming Voice to avoid going down. Now I'm 1 shield to 0. This is a possible crunch, so I go ahead and shield, respect the crunch, and from here it's pretty much GG because he doesn't have enough energy to get to a second crunch. We can take an Aqua Tail, we can just go ahead and farm him down, and then all he's got left is Mamoswine in the back. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I was thinking that I won this game. He has energy loaded on that Mamoswine, and that's going to be the game, but not for me, for him. Anyway, the rest of the set gets better, I promise. So Togekiss comes in on the lead against Florges. I go to the Moonblast because Togekiss is pretty bulky. He's probably just going to let that go. And then, since he lets it go, I swap to Metagross here, hoping that maybe I can catch the Ancient Power, but instead he decides to go all the way up to the Flamethrower, and I have to respect that. So I shield the Flamethrower, and then he goes into Gyarados here. I have a Meteor Mash, and I can go ahead and throw that at the Gyarados. He lets it go, does pretty big damage, but being that this is Waterfall Gyarados, he's pressuring me a lot more than a Dragon Breath one would. I let this go because I just want to come back in with my Gyarados at this point. Because I don't want the Gyarados to be aligned with Togekiss later. if I can avoid that. He does come in with Togekiss here, I believe. Or does he come in with a cert? Yeah, he comes back in with Togekiss. I'm able to get this Aqua Tail off and yeah, take him out before taking any unnecessary charm damage. And now this is pretty much GG, right? Because I've got Dragon Breath pressuring this Garchomp. I can do neutral damage with my Aqua Tails, and I even have Florges here, who just needs to get to a move to take this thing out. I can shield a possible Earth Power, but it ends up being just Sand Tomb. I go for the weaker of the two moves because Garchomp's really not super tanky, so even a Disarming Voice would have got him pretty low. Also, Vine Whip doing neutral damage. That's sort of the double-edged sword of that Dragon Ground typing, right? Is that water and grass, which would normally be not very effective against the dragon, end up doing neutral damage. So kind of chunking him slowly and surely, but surely. Aqua Tail is going to get him extremely low, and he goes for this last-ditch Sand Tomb here, which is not going to do really anything to Gyarados, so we're able to Dragon Breath down and pick up the win. In the third game, we get another Togekiss lead. This time I go for the Disarming Voice bait. I'm not really sure why. Again, this was my first set with this team. I probably could have recorded later sets, but yeah. He swaps to Chandelure after I dealt my energy, and now I'm kind of in trouble here. I was hoping that he would bait me and Flame Charge, but he actually throws the Shadow Ball, which almost takes me out. The good thing is Chandelure is so squishy that it literally has to shield everything that isn't resisted, and even some moves that aren't resisted. So we can pressure him, and that was a huge IV breakpoint right there. We have like a 1 HP left there, and we're able to get off 2 Aqua Tails, getting both shields. So now the Chandelure has energy, and obviously I can't come in with Metagross just yet. So I have to come in with Florges. I'm up 2 shields to 0. So I shield up this first Flame Charge. And he's going to go for a second Flame Charge. I decided to let that one go. I should have let the first one go, obviously. But I wanted to take all his energy, and I didn't want to leave room for Metagross to get hit by anything. So, like I said, let that go. It worked out. I ended up getting another move off to take out Chandelure. Now it's just Metagross versus Garchomp. I just shield up the Earth Power, right? I farm down. He still has Togekiss, which is why I went for the farm down rather than throwing, even though his Togekiss is pretty much energy dry. See, here I thought he was going to catch, so I didn't throw right away. I delayed the Meteor Mash a tiny bit. I expected him to try to catch there, but we end up throwing on the Incinerate to make sure that we don't have to deal with anything like that, and then it's just an easy Meteor Mash to get the win there. So, against the Gyarados here, I stay in and try to bait the Moonblast. I figure Gyarados will not want to let through a potential Moonblast here, and I do get the shield. The waterfall damage, however, is starting to add up on me, so decide to throw my second Moonblast, or my actual Moonblast, just before he can get an Aqua Tail off, because that'll get me really low. So, yeah, I'm assuming he's going to throw an Aqua Tail, but here he throws Crunch for some reason. I don't know if he thought I would try to catch there, or maybe he's running Outrage as his second move. That's what I was thinking. Because he goes double Crunch to take out a Fairy type. I'm able to farm down with Metagross, or not really much of a farm down, but now he's got Garchomp, so not an ideal matchup for me, but I'm able to get to this Meteor Mash to pressure him. I'm taking some damage, and then he's going to throw a possible Earth Power, which ends up just being a Sand Tomb. I have to respect that, but I'm still up a shield. I can get to my second Meteor Mash here, and yeah, able to get that KO. I swap out immediately to clear that debuff, even though I know Metagross is fine against Dragonite. Might as well take advantage of Gyarados here and use it while I can and force him to throw something at it, if anything. But there's not a whole lot he can do at this point. I'm fine to just let Gyarados go, because Metagross with a shield is obviously going to clean up here. So opponent realizes that and just goes ahead and concedes the match there. This last game is a Walrein lead. I haven't seen a ton of Walrein in MLPC at my ELO, but I'm sure that a lot of people are playing around with it in this cup because it threatens a lot of things like Garchomp, Dragonite, even Excadrill has a good amount of play against Excadrill. Just anything that honestly that just isn't a fighter or even a steel type. It can Earthquake. Walrein is just so solid. Anyway, I let those first couple of Icicle Spears go, but at this point it's just getting so spammy that I'm forced to give up a shield here. You saw that he called my Moonblast the first time, but I'm able to get to a second Moonblast here, which will take it out. So Florges able to beat Walrein in the one shield. Very solid. We go down to Togekiss, but that's fine because now that I've won alignment here, I'm in a perfect position to just deal with this Togekiss here. He tries to trick me with Ancient Power, but I was counting and I knew he wasn't at a Flamethrower anyway, so it was kind of just wasted energy on his part. Now that Togekiss' energy dry, I'm fine to just throw my Meteor Mash here and swap into Gyarados, who has a great matchup against Garchomp here. I shield the Sand Tomb, and now here is a little tricky. I think if my opponent just lets Garchomp go here without chipping Gyarados too much, then maybe his Togekiss can farm me down and Flamethrower Metagross immediately and win the game. But instead he goes for big damage, and that kind of costs him the game because now I even stop attacking at the end there just in case. My Gyarados is so low that Togekiss is not going to be able to farm it down at all. And then it's just an easy win for Metagross. So yeah, what my opponent could have done there is try to just let Garchomp go down, maybe stop attacking, maybe just only throw Sand Tombs, don't throw the Outrage there, because there isn't a whole lot that Gyarados could do to Togekiss, right? And you could probably farm it down, and if you get to that Flamethrower against Metagross, who's energy dry, you're going to be able to pick up the win. But in any case, that's going to be the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and like I said, if you want to try this team out, I would make a couple of tweaks. Like, as much as I love Shadow Metagross, I don't think it's maybe really the best closer for this team. You really need an anti-steal on this team. So it can't be something like Machamp, because then you're just going to be too weak to things like Togekiss and other fairies. You're not going to have a lot of play there. And it can't be a dragon, right? It can't be Garchomp, because then you're super weak to Togekiss again and Ice. And I really think that the most solid third on this team would be Excadrill. And the only reason I haven't built one yet is because I have a 13, 15, 15, and I don't want to lose CMP all the time. So I'd rather build my 15, 15, 14 Drillbur. I just don't have the candies yet. So hopefully I can get that built soon. I think that would really complete this team nicely. But for now, what I think I'm going to do is run Mamoswine instead and see how that works. Just because even though Mamoswine is not an anti-steal per se, it has a much closer matchup against Excadrill. It beats Magnezone, and it's very close with Metagross as well. So it might not outright beat them, but it has a lot more play than Metagross does against those steel types. So I will be making some changes, but I still recommend running Florges. I think it's very good in this cup, and if you don't have one built yet, I would absolutely build one. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and sub. It means a lot. And feel free to follow me on Twitter. I don't tweet a lot, but happy to follow you back. And yeah, that'll just about do it, and I'll see you next time.